To get us started, I want to tell you a quick story because I've had nearly a 40-year working career, and in that time had a number of careers within that, and some pretty diverse type functions and roles, some a bit clandestine, some out in the open. And many years ago I was, in fact it was in the late 90s, I was working for BHP in an overseas appointment, and they ran an asset that generated about $1 billion in revenue per annum, and it was in a third world country. Now the location of this asset was very strongly integrated with the community, and I'll draw it for you a little bit so you get a sense of what it looked like. There was an intersection in the main town that kind of looked like this, and they had a building here called the White House, and the White House was where the executive team ran the business. And over the road they had a police station up here, a big shopping centre, and they had a bank branch located kind of on the corner. Now one particular day I was walking from the White House across to a four-wheel drive, going to get into it and drive somewhere, and there was no other cars in the car park. As I walked across here, suddenly gunfire erupted, and the gunfire was happening in this direction. So there was machine guns, M16s, shotguns, and I don't know if you've ever been shot at, but it's a pretty frightening experience to hear the crack thump. Have you ever heard of that? Crack thump is the sound you hear if you're being shot at. If you hear gunfire and it's just bang, that's a good sign because they're not shooting at you. But if you hear crack bang, you know the bullet's coming past you. So there's all this crack thumping occurring. So I bolted over here, ran over here and got down behind the four-wheel drive. And I sat there, and there was bullets and pellets hitting the front of the building here. Now, interestingly enough, the board decided they would have their board meeting, so the chairman of the board of a multi-billion-dollar company and his board decided that they would have their meeting with the managing director at one of the assets. It just happened to be this asset. So the board meeting is being held right there. During this occurring, the chairman of the board stuck his head out the window. Actually stuck to have a look and see what was happening. So he got some certain instructions from me that I wouldn't repeat here, and pulled his head back in. Now, that situation, right, is fairly extreme. The way it worked for me was it opened a door. It gave me an opportunity to present my ideas to, of all people, the chairman of the board, the managing director, and get those ideas implemented really quickly without much fuss. Now, how often does that situation arise?